Hi, good evening, everyone. Warm welcome. Good to see you all. People joining from different geographies. Regal MuseArt is a humble initiative for our alumni, by our alumni, and of our alumni. The team Regal, Sonia, and Anirudhan are just supporting the cause. So, and today's episode is, truly representative of, for, and by. Right, because Anjali, Anjali is going to share something very valuable. Right now, I'm kind of grabbing the mic and make this introductory remark because coaching is a very reflective process, right? Unless it is a reflective process, we are barely scratching the surface. That is for sure. And secondly, it's also important that we go deeper, and I don't think we can achieve it better than writing. Now, Anjali has taken that to a different level, not only by publishing a book, but talking about a topic which resonates very deeply for me personally. And Ajish and Anjali are recent ACC from our community, and we are very proud. And I can't tell how privileged we are whenever we have someone getting the ACC credential. By the way, Sonia Rama has just got her PCC today. She's just shared with us on the groups. So it's one thing to learn and practice and everything, but to cross that hurdle of credential exam is a different thing. And these two have done that very successfully in the first attempt. So again, in the spirit of transformational coaching, in the spirit of coaching being self-transformational, writing away your pains is something that is very integral to a shift. I met somebody, last point, otherwise I can go on. I met someone today from another coaching school who wants to join us for a PCC journey. So, I was telling him that, some of the other methodologies that we tend to, get into. Yeah, I don't want to name them with all my respect. Some of the non-coaching practices that typically coaches get into does not serve them, right? In most of the cases, because I feel coaching by itself is very complete. So that's why I keep my healing orientation, all my healing practices separate from professional coaching. And these to us testament to the power of coaching as an independent process. It pays to be reflective, to write down. So journaling is something I personally mandate to all our coaches on this path, and also my coaching clients. I am forcing everyone to be more reflective. And we proudly feel that our coaches are well above the average in the industry, one of the best in this part of the world. That is because we lay a lot of stress on the self-transformation, reflection, and journaling and writing. Yeah. So thank you, Anjali. And once again, congrats for your book. Over to you. I'll step back. Yeah. All the best. And thanks, Ajish, also.
Yeah, thank you so much, Subhash. Yeah, thank you for the introduction. So, yeah, Subhash has mentioned me about the ACC journey and also about the book a little bit. And let me also add that I am not from this background. I'm not from coach HR background. I am actually from technical background. I have done my engineering in Triple E. So I was working as a technical writer for like 9 years. Then I think I had that habit of documenting things in from that time, and I also used to write stories and poems, etc. previously in blogs and all. So yeah, but coaching was like a calling that I wanted to do something instead of documenting the technical aspects. So that's why I came into started writing. So not just started writing, it was not an initially itself I was not clear that I'm going to write this book. Initially, I had to understand a few things about me, about my failures, about society, and everything. There were so many clutters in my mind. So yeah, so maybe we will, since Subhash spoke that much about the journey and everything, I thought, okay, we'll start with that. So maybe in this workshop, we will start by writing something. So maybe at 10 minutes, we will spend on writing about a topic very freely. We'll see how that experience will feel like. So I will give you 10 minutes to write any of I'll give you a topic, and on that topic, I would encourage all of you to just write freely, whatever you feel about that particular topic. So that way we will start, so that we'll all know that the process, how it feels like, and how much it can touch us and all that. So let's do that. So like before starting anything, we will just do that exercise first. So the topic is same as like my book. It is like write about any of your failures. And don't say that you have not failed any time in life. So any of your failure, um, about 10 minutes, very freely, without any, don't think about any grammar or spelling, etc. Just be free and please write for 10 minutes. We will, I'll not ask you to read it and read it, but I may ask you to just share the experience of how you felt. Yeah, so feel free and please write for 10 minutes. Yeah, thank you.
Hello, why is nobody talking? Hi.
Yeah, actually, Shweta, everyone is writing. Actually, the topic is uh, any failure. So you,
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah.
What is the topic? Any failure? Oh, that's gonna take a long time for me.
Done. And how done? Everyone done? You need more time? Okay. So, can anyone volunteer and express that feeling you got after writing it? And from the initially, what did you feel, and how while writing, how it progressed, and at the end of after writing, how did you exactly feel? Can anyone volunteer and express those feelings?
Yeah, Anjali, can I talk?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thank you, Anjali. It's nice, you know. Uh, See, while started writing, I was able to recollect my the biggest failure what I had in my life. It was one of my ambitions to become something, and when I appeared for the exam and when I got failed, that ambition was totally closed, on which I cannot move out. Okay, as I was keep on writing it, I was able to recollect what are the emotional status I went through. Okay, how many sleepless nights I've had it, and how the thinking process was going in my mind. After I was completing around 60 to 75%, I feel a little bit, feel lighter. Okay, I just because uh, the feeling I'm not sure about it, whether when we able to talk to someone else, whether they can able to read the frequency and understand what the feeling exactly I have it. But when I write it, I feel like someone is listening to me. Okay, listening, without any kind of a judgment or without any kind of a assessment on my capabilities or my thinking process. So when I completed around 80 to 90%, I feel very, very, relaxed and feel lighter on this one. This is what I feel about it.
Were you aware that this failure was there in you, or this thought of this, was that there even before, like 10 minutes before this call, or it just like that came when this
Yeah,
topic brought it?
it was in my mind for a long time, quite long time. Now, I understand. Okay, over the period of time, no, we have this resilience of coming out of this particular failure and to look forward, how to move forward in our life. But still, at the back of my mind, some points, when something triggers us, so let me be very frank with you. I want to be a pilot in Indian Air Force. Okay, whenever I see a fighter fly, I still have that feeling of I could have become, but I didn't have a chance to go about it. So it always there. Even after writing, it will be there. As long as I see the thing. This is what I feel about it and what I want to say.
I acknowledge you for saying that, but what made you say, when you say it out loud, what makes you feel?
When I say it out loud, this always sharing the feeling with someone who can understand. Um, that always gives a kind of I'm just putting my weight or my the heavy feeling on someone's shoulder who can just share it.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what I feel about it.
Yeah. And how would you think it will help others when you share this? Like, you have volunteered firstly and you came and you shared this. And how would you feel it will help others?
See, definitely, because there are so many things which is in the minds of everyone, no? And people are not so vulnerable to talk about with these kind of a thing with everybody. Okay, because we always look for a mature person who can able to understand, without a non-judgmental, without giving any kind of a comments or anything else. It is very rare to get such a kind of a people to talk about it. Okay, so when the people, one way we can say that we empty our space in the particular area, no, so that I can fill up with some new thing. So the people should talk, or they should uh, drain it out from the mind, so that it gives a lot of energy and you feel lighter to move forward.
Yeah. So thank you, Kennedy.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for expressing that feeling. And can anyone else could also explain about the feelings of failure? Like, yeah, we have written a lot about, what all feelings were there in that failure. Maybe sitting in that failure, what all did you actually feel?
Honestly, when I was writing down right now, I feel like what came out more was like
you're being a coach to yourself, you're offering that space to yourself. And when you're writing, it comes across more like a third person perspective. Like you've done your observation, you became aware of some things. Whether it actually turned out like a failure or not, that's a different thing. Because when you're writing, I feel you write more from an observation point of view. You write more from an awareness point of view. I think what it did to me right now was I was giving myself that space, that respectable space where I'm writing what exactly I felt at that particular point of time and how exactly I'm feeling right now about the same issue. That's what I felt.
And after writing, how you felt?
In fact, honestly, it started as a failure, but by the end of it, I wasn't looking at it as a failure. So, yeah.
So maybe sitting in that failure is tough for everyone, right? So
Absolutely.
maybe in that point we feel like, okay, we are not good, we are that, we are this. We associate a lot of bad things to us, maybe
True.
labels to us. So maybe when we write, it will not just failure. I'm talking about anything, but when you write, it will just go away. So it could be any of your pain, any of it's also like a coaching session. You get a free space to vent out everything. You get that space. You get a free page so that you can write everything you want to write. So that's what writing gives you. And when you're thinking about saying it out loud, right? Say initially we posting it somewhere or telling to someone, okay, I've written this. This needs a further motivation or something that, I have written something good. That thought of, okay, I have to communicate this to people. So this this has to come out. Something like there is value. Like, I felt so and so emotions when I wrote this. Like, for example, I felt a lot of self-doubt. I felt a lot of, I'm not a good enough feeling when I was failing or when I was sitting with the failure, whatever it is. So at that point, all I had was all things. So then when I wrote, I came back. So what I thought was, okay, why should I tell this to people, right? I can give this would be a value to someone. So this was like what that motivated me or pushed me so that it can come as a book or it's something out for people. So this is what we do. We as coaches, I think we need a lot of content to be put in LinkedIn or Instagram. We need to say what we feel, right? Day-to-day basis, we have to like communicate what we are doing in terms of content. So I think this is very important, but uh, it is not about maybe not writing a whole book, but maybe small content also. We need the space to be a safe space, and then to understand what all we have inside and understand what all we have to offer to people. So I think realizing that was one of the motives I had before writing this book, to be frank. And also, yeah, in between, I had to, I learned UPSC for 3 months. So this thing I could really, really understand. And UPSC is an exam where it will test all your endurance. Like, it will give you this, the prelims is there, and then you have mains where you have like lot of your patience is going to get tested in the exam. So when I allow myself to go through that process, I realized, okay, these are all things which I'm feeling, and I have to, my own fears which I didn't even know. Like, for example, I didn't study in this college. I have this, like, all of my bits of fears I had. I just realized, okay, I had all this. So that was the process. When I was writing, I understood, I healed, but also it could be valuable for someone else also, because we are all human. We are all somewhere or the other, we might be feeling same experiences. So I think Ajish, he's also a UPSC mentor, and he's also a coach. So maybe from the UPSC angle, the pain and the struggles people goes through when while writing the exam, I think he can add a little bit on more than what I can say. Right? I have studied it only for a like less like very little time, but it is not. People used to say, okay, when you prepared for UPSC, you have nothing to claim that level of whatever, because there are people who try and for like 5 years, 6 years, etc. So that is very tough to be in that situation. So I think you, as a coach and as a mentor, Ajish will have more value to add to whatever I'm saying. So let me invite Ajish to say a few lines about that as well.
Thank you, Anjali. So yeah, first of all, thank you, Regal, for giving me this opportunity to talk about these things. So Anjali's book is actually about somebody who has gone through the journey of UPSC and then realizing that it's the value that a person assigned to himself or herself is much more than an exam. So what I would like to tell here is that, how can I correlate an exam like UPSC with the journey of a learner coach? For example, in UPSC, you have a prelim stage, then there is main stage where you have to write 9 papers, then there is an interview. And all these things happen over a period of time. And if you fail in any of these stages, then you'll have to start at the beginning. So people usually spend year after year on this thing. Again, when you compare our coaching journey, we have all the assignments that we have to do. Then we have to do our own recordings. Then we have to complete 100 hours. Then you have to get RCC from Regal. Then there is this credential examination before which you will get, I mean, after which you will get the ACC. So in both these things, what I see common is the perseverance of the people. Most of the time, what happens is, since this is a long-term process, people tend to forget about the reason why they started. Why I chose to become a IAS officer or IPS officer. And then they lose interest, then they slack. So in coaching journey also, I wonder, or I feel like whenever we feel demotivated about, I have to complete that many number of hours, or I have to prepare for the credential examination, remember why you started it. Because being clear about why you actually want to do a particular thing is really important. And every time you feel a little bit of demotivation, it's easy that you can actually go back and remember why you started it. Again, another relationship or another correlation between UPSC journey and credential exam is that in UPSC there is, you cannot go to the exam after telling yourself that you have completed the syllabus. Syllabus completion is an impossible task to do there. It's kind of the same in credential examination also, but we know that we have to do CCs and our code of ethics, but we don't know what is going to be asked, in what way they are going to ask the case studies. So, so there is no way for us to know whether we are on the right track, whether we are going to pass this exam or not, whether our preparation is enough or not. So in those cases, as a mentor, what I usually tell my students is to, tame the known. The unknown will work out in your favor. Tame the known, as in, what is to be done. If I talk about coaching journey, what you could do is focus on your coaching, focus on your coaching that you do with your cohort members, focus on your coaching that you do with your clients. Focus on the CCs that you have learned, and these are the knowns that you can control. And focusing on the unknowns about which you know nothing wouldn't actually help you. So that is another thing that I would like to add. Another thing is that in credential examination also, there are many people who are complaining that we don't get enough time to cover the whole thing. 81 questions are there. We have to read the whole thing. We have to analyze the whole thing, and then we have to come out with an answer. Again, it's the same with UPSC. You have to complete 50 pages in 3 hours. You have to complete the whole 50 pages, as in write the whole thing. So most of the time, when I talk to students, one of the things that I observe is that they get stressed too much to the point that their grip on the pen increases. They shake the whole bench. They disturb the person sitting next to them. While doing all these things, they think that they're doing this faster, but actually they are doing it slower. But so one exercise that we usually tell them to do is to start writing slowly, you know. But because when you actually start writing slowly, you get back, you get back on track. Once you are back on track, then you can raise the speed, increase the speed of your writing, uh, on your own, not in a hurry like thing. So in coaching also, when you are reading the questions in credential examination, this is one thing that you could do, where you are you can write those. I mean, you can read those things slowly. We tend to lose control of what we are supposed to do. For example, in UPSC, the intention is to write faster, but when you actually try so hard to write faster, you are actually writing slow. So this is another thing that I was trying to write on the other day. And the title of that thing was "Slow is the new fast." Anyway, so in such situation, we are kind of unable to comprehend the situation, or in the case of the exam, we are unable to comprehend the case studies, which is exactly what we were supposed to do at that time. And one of the most important thing is what happens when you not pass. In case of UPSC, if you don't pass, you have to go start the whole thing in the next year. In credential examination also, if you don't pass, then you have to start. So every time there is a lot of self-doubt. If you don't do it if you don't crack it in the first attempt, then you keep wondering whether I'm good enough. Then all kind of self-doubt questions comes in. Usually for the first timers in UPSC, what we used to tell them is to, give your first shot or give the best shot in your first attempt. If not, you will keep wondering, had I done that, I would have, or I could have done that, things like that. So if you give your first, if you give your best attempt in your first attempt, that will be good. This can be correlated to credential examinations as well. For example, again, we have a lot of things to do, and in those things, if you are not actually, if you slack on something, if you don't particularly study one particular thing, then we keep wondering, had I done that, I could have, done certain things. So that's that. Other than that, if you're not a first timer, then what you could do is, this is again for UPSC students also, this is what we say, focus on what you didn't do the first time and get help from the mentors. So, the same I could say for the credential examination. And finally, the most important part, correlating, identity correlating. When we prepare for an exam, especially in UPSC, people tend to make that a part of their identity. If they don't pass that particular exam, then they take it to heart and they keep telling themselves that I failed in my life, I couldn't do it. They make it a part of their worth. Uh, uh, in credential examination, I'm not sure if that is the case, because that's not the kind of thing that we do here. But in UPSC, what happens is, uh, oftentimes students might have to, they haven't started earning anything. They are just out of college. When we take balance or take count of all the good things that are happening in their life, and in all the bad things that are happening in life, and in their own terms, bad things will be more, because they are not passing the exam, they are living on their parents' money, and the list goes on, and the overall motivation that they have towards life itself comes down. So at this point, what I would like to tell here is, you are worthy. You are worthy no matter what exam you pass or not pass in life. Yeah. So that's all from my part regarding this correlation between UPSC journey and credentialing journey. And I will give it back to Anjali.
Thanks, Ajish, for talking correlation, right? So that topic reminded me of, how this coaching process and writing process is correlated, slightly out of topic from what we were talking till now. So it's like in coaching, we talk about this creativity, right? one person comes and tell their problems, right? Like how we wrote today, I have this problem, I have that problem. So they tell like a hell lot of problem. When they came after, like, once they vent it out, once they express everything, from somewhere they get an idea, right? So they are creative. At one point they are creative. We don't know from where it has come. And we don't know from where the creativity comes, right? It just comes. So that is how this ideas works. So we all can, maybe when we get ideas when we are cooking, there is nothing. Look, you might be thinking, okay, I want to write a book or I want to post a content in LinkedIn. You'll be thinking that, but somehow in between, when you cook, you will get that idea. So whenever you get that idea, you note it somewhere. Just like coaching, you get a creativity, you write now, or at that moment you get catch it. Maybe you note them in a notepad or in your phone, so that you can further develop that idea. So that is about idea. And now, the what we have written now is just, we have expressed. So how to make it valuable to someone else and how to make it unique, right? So there is a problem in your life, in any time, any situation, that you have to come out, and you found out a very brilliant way, very unique way, that is only you can find out. That is your creativity. So if you got that, you have to how to use it further. So that question comes. So how to use my creativity? I got that. I have solved my problem, right? How. So now I got this through my creativity. I have solved my problem. So how to make use of it further? It could be so. There are so many ways. Maybe you can post. Maybe you can write a book about it. Maybe you can write a post about it. Maybe you can draw a painting about. I don't know about painting, but there are possibility. But and also, there are designers, or you can create an app. So there is a problem, I have solved this, so that someone else can also solve the same problem. So this you can give back. So that happens when you write a book, right? I had this problem, I have figured out a way to this, and how can I give back to someone else, so that when they read it, they also feel. So this is the idea. Whenever we write a content, when we add some value to it, so that they can also use it for their purpose, whatever it they could be, that could be someone else's survival guide. We don't know how much impact they will be having when they read it. So you might be just writing something. So I have hugely benefited from small quotes, get from Instagram, or sometimes when you're really dull, and you get this small quote from LinkedIn or from Instagram, or just from a book or a video. So that changes our whole mood, maybe a music. So these are all comes from these ideas. And from where these ideas comes, where this creativity comes, is out of, we don't know exactly from where this creativity comes. And in quantum science, they say different something about from where this creativity comes. We have to yet figure out what is uh most effective way to complicate things. What was that? So, so I was talking about the creativity and how you can turn into a beautiful art, right? So, and I know somebody of you would have already done it, right? Somebody of would have already wrote about something that you have found out, maybe a small piece of your creativity, maybe a piece of art. So, if in case anybody of you can share those experience, please volunteer and share one of those experiences. Any and maybe a LinkedIn post also, from your own experience, you felt like, okay, this has to go on for this. Anyone can you share?
You mean writing about anything or anything specific? I didn't get that part.
Yeah, anything that help you heal. Okay, any okay, I'll repeat that any feeling uh, that helped you, I mean, anything that helped you heal, and also you thought of sharing that way through any type of art so that others can also benefit through it.
I'll go. I mean, what came up immediately was I recently shared, I think on Sunday, about, about something about the passing of my dog on LinkedIn, right? So something that was very emotional, and this I'm sharing after, April 14th, almost 4 months, right? So how I'm struggling, I wrote, while I promote detached attachment, how much I'm struggling to do that. And there was a trigger. There is this particular trigger that prompted me to do that, which I have not mentioned there. So, just the outpouring of response to the post and some one-to-one messages. Even one of my neighbors, she didn't know that, it's passed away. So, yeah, I know how it is helping me to deal that loss differently. Now, those of you who have not seen the post, I mentioned that a part of my soul has just drifted away, right? I mean, that's how strong I feel about it. So, yeah, I mean, it is helping me to deal with it. Yeah. If that answers, if that is an example that you're asking, yeah. And it's a
Yeah,
link
so
to.
that is your experience, that it helped you to heal, right? So it helped you to express, while expressing you felt relieved. So I mean, you feel you are more connected to people in that way. Somebody else is also connected because they also feeling similar experience. So one way is you can connect with more people when we express exactly what we feel in our minds. And so it's just a one post, it's just one page, maybe one page of content. So if you want to write a book, then it has to be a constant process. Daily you have to spend some amount of, sit with it, sit with the topic, then the ideas will come naturally. You don't have to force anything. One day you sit, okay, today I'm going to sit like this, maybe today we wrote for 10 minutes. Similarly, if you're planning to write a book, then sit for 10 minutes, write everything that comes in your mind, and then later we'll edit it. Editing part, we don't have to, just freely writing, so then all your ideas will come. So there are so many other ways to get ideas, like, like I said, it can come very naturally when we are doing something else. That can come when you do yoga, you will get I used to get, when you do when you spend time in nature, you will get those ideas. And also you can get those ideas when you are doing your meditation, so that is also a very good way. And also you can use coaching for getting those ideas. So all these ideas you can grab from various portions, and you don't have to force writing. Like if you force, okay, I have to do this way, that way, then the momentum will go. And one more thing, be consistent but don't be forced. I cannot, I'll spend 1 hour for writing this page, it's okay, I'll write for 1 hour. Then next day also you have to just sit it, okay, maybe that day, now sometime someday, nothing will come, no idea come, nothing, I'm not getting anything to write. But still next day also sit with that time you are allocated for you to write the book. Then give that time and sit there, so that something else will come. Or maybe you can edit, or you can you can plan whichever way it's convenient for you. So so that is about completing writing. And once you have, like, for 2 months, if you could write one page on one day, so then in 30 days you can write 30 pages. Maybe in 5 months you can write some decent amount of pages, so that a book can be book in a form of book you can write. So the next part is editing. You will have to cut. Some would be, the free flow of writing. It may not be, the sentences will not be that good, so we'll have to just read it. So then use your other, how people are going to read it. And I have had such checks also, because when you take everything from our point of view, like, my idea, then it is not going to be applicable for others. I'll take a small example from my book that says, like, how long can we how long can this earth how long can we keep this earth away from dead leaves? So I don't know, this was my idea, but I don't know how people can relate to this particular word. But this, I wanted to ask them very strongly that, I see this paved tiles everywhere. So I want people to just know that, how long are you going to put these tiles, and, trees are being cut off, and how long are you going to do this? I seriously wanted to ask this question. So, but when I ask this as just as question, people can't understand. So there I made a story, and, there is a motherly connection. When you read the book, you'll know. So there is a mother coming in, and then that lady realizing, okay, it's mother. My mother is also falling. It's the earth part of her. So somewhere in the story that she's realizing this, and the connection, when that connection is being built, she's feeling more connected to the earth and the dead leaves that are falling. So I'm just telling an example. So while you're editing, so maybe probably you can think about what others are going to get connected to that also. So if required, delete or remove some sentences very harshly. It will be very sad for you to remove your sentences which you have written. But still, if it's needed, remove it, and that's the editing stage. And also, if needed, you can give it to a good editor so that you will get the grammar, content, everything correct. So then the next stage is publications. So hopefully I was very fortunate to get Ajish in that case, because I was just talking to him about the book and everything, and he was saying that he's running a publication house, and the discussions went very smoothly, and we met like that, and I was very fortunate in that case. Yeah, but then the next stage is publication. So that would have like a little bit of more things, like you have to decide the cover and everything, then the layouting, inside, if we have to give some illustrations, then we have to think about that and all. So because these days no one will read books, because there are so many enough online contents are available. So in order to make a book stand out from these online books, you have to do a lot of work in that area also. So I think Ajish can speak more about the publication aspect more than I do. So I will let's call him to say that.
Yeah. Again, I think I have to thank Regal, because that's how we got connected. I saw Anjali's message asking for a session. Then, I mean, I didn't know her. Then I connected. We talked about this. We shared things about UPSC journey, and then it was actually not me, my partner, who started this publication business, and I tagged along. And now we are running it together. Yeah. So. Again, proudly, I think I will say that I was the one who designed that cover. Anjali gave the idea. Anjali wanted it to be in this particular fashion. She also gave me a lot of other examples. Then we together designed it. Anyway, so yeah, there is nothing much to talk about publications. It's only about, editing part, layout part, and there is something that you need to deal about, copyright and ISBN, things like that. That's technical. Instead of that, I think I will talk about something else. Before that, I would also like to add that we are getting ready to print the second edition of Let Her Fail, Anjali's book. Let me just say it there. So what I would like to add here is, when I began my ACC journey with Regal, I asked Subhash if Regal was primarily focused on executive coaching. So he replied then that they welcome coaches from all niches there. I'm confident that I'm speaking to a diverse group of coaches here, each representing a different niche. Uh, Oftentimes, the niche that we choose, often it also serves as an extension of who you already are. I was actually listening to one of the recording of a PK session where he was also saying the same thing. You're already somebody, so niche will be an extension of what you already are. So, and that said, there are countless books out there in the market. It goes with the title 10 ways to avoid breakups or 21 ways to get rich. There are many books like that. Mostly written by individuals sharing their personal experiences. And many of these books are finding success also. Uh, but a coach's perspective on the same aspect will be totally different. We draw insights not only from our own experiences, but also from the diverse experience of the people that we are working with, the people or clients that we're working with. So, what would a book look like when a coach writes it from this perspective? We're not talking about ordinary people writing just their experiences. We're also talking about coaches who are writing their experiences as well as other people's experiences. So again, this is what I would like to say. Imagine if each coach at Regal wrote book based on their area of expertise or niche. We have happiness coaches here, career transition coaches, life coaches, exam coaches, and whatnot. So together, if we all expressed our insights through the art of writing, we would create a vast collection of books, or rather, encyclopedia of insights filled with wisdom from which people could actually truly learn. So I would leave with that idea and let it settle. And over to you, Anjaly.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so that's the idea. And whenever you're writing, you will feel very much we will feel very peaceful. We'll feel very happy. And always there will a purpose is there that will be motivating you to finish the book. And after finishing the book, you don't know, but till finishing the book, something will be keep on hooking you to finish the book. So just start with the paper and do the process, like every day, dedicate some time for it, and then it will follow. Ideas will come, everything will come in place, and don't worry about the other thing. So just write, maybe start to practice from tomorrow onwards. Yeah, that's what I have from my side. And do you have any questions to us?
I have a lot of questions, but because I'm an eternal aspiring author. So, Anjali, how long it took you to write this book?
I started on February, I would say. February whole month I wrote like 1 hour I spent for this, 1 hour or 2 hours. Every day I'll write something. So in the like February end I got a picture. How it will be. It's like 7 chapter was done. So then I gave to like I wrote it in paper, right? I did not use computer. Then I have to give it to DTP center and they gave it, and so yeah. So and then I had changed the story completely.
Oh,
Somewhere I've changed the story, but the initial chapters were still the same, but I've changed somewhere. But those ideas were coming. I was not forcing. Okay, I there were forces, but that was not helpful. Whenever I forced, it was not helpful for me. So that's why I'm not saying don't force.
wow. So almost 6 months. So when in the interest of time, I can't agree more with Ajish. There is at least one book in all of us, and if we can write our coaching stories, I think we can truly create an encyclopedia. I like the word he used. It can truly be an encyclopedia of coaching and something from this part of the world, right? We are all reading Western authors' books. We don't even Saurabh Mukherjee, who's written a book with his coach, who's European. So yeah, Sundar, any question? I just saw you coming live.
No, Subhash, nothing much. I was about
Yeah.
to ask the same question. No, what was that experience in her life? In fact, no, she answered that particular part.
Yeah. So it is for me. It's a great reminder. I've heard this. It's just about consistency. The word Anjali used, daily habits. So one question to you, Ajish, quick one. Couple of do's and don'ts. right? If some of us choose to write, something that we need to keep. I'm asking this more not from Anjali's perspective, more from a publisher's perspective, not an author's perspective. What are a few things like what should be the size of the book and a couple of do's and don'ts? What do you?
If you are talking about the size of the book, again, from the marketing point of the view, it would be better if your book is more than 100 pages. That way, book is good in terms of number of pages. Plus, at the same time, the price of the book will be low enough for people will be like, yeah, it's 200 something only or 100 something only. Let me just buy it. So instead, there is also a possibility where you could write for 400 pages and price it at 500. So there will be initial resistance among the people about not buying it. So again, if you want to write a big book, then another thing that you could do is split it into 3 parts. So that's one thing. And again, to make my job easier, one thing that you could do is, type it out from the initial stage itself instead of writing it. I mean, for Anjali, I am not the one who did it. She did it on her own. So that will be easy from my end. Those are the things. Then to have ideas, for example, in Anjali's book, for expressing something like letters, something like journals, we have used several illustrations. So if the author has that kind of idea already in their mind, then we could help it.
Very nice. See, it's such a fascinating thing that we have published authors. Anjali is an addition to that list. But Ajish, having an in-house publisher is a big thing. Yeah. Thank you. I mean, we're at the top of the hour. If anyone has any urgent question, you can ask. Otherwise, we'll not come in between your dinner.
Just one question, can I ask?
Yes, please.
Ajish and Anjali, just to check with you, what about the idea of using the dictate instead of writing?
Just dictating into, Ajish, out to you.
I mean, I personally haven't used that thing. I mean, if you're referring to an app, but if that is coming out perfectly, if you're actually able to put your ideas out in that, but when you're writing, then you can structure sentences very well. But if you are speaking, it comes out in one way. Your idea is out there, but that may not be the thing that you want to come in the book. You may have to rephrase the same thing in a different way to make it a book. So I think when you dictate, that could be a problem. Or else, you could also dictate in a way how you want to come in the book. If that is the case, it's okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I also agree. I've heard this.
Thank you.
Writing is better, dictation can work, and I think Madhu Gade on his session on AI said you can talk to your ChatGPT, for example. You can talk to your Zoom. Zoom has a good transcription service, and this doesn't have a template like ICF transcript, so it's a free flow, so it might work. Yeah, but writing, I agree with Ajish. I think there's some magic in actually writing. I can't agree more.
But while using, sometimes I write something and I feel so proud about it, but then I want to make it a little better. I put it into the ChatGPT. I feel like I lose the essence of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true. Very well said. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Anjali and Ajish. We will come back, for more help and support and inspiration to both of you. Yeah, and once again, congrats for your ACC. Keep inspiring. Good night, everyone. Thank you for joining and staying on till the end.